Hello and welcome back with me, fLukedMC. We are back on the LiberCraft server, except we're not at the moment. We are currently in my creative testing world, around where I've been experimenting with things for the LiberCraft server. And that's because this episode is all about decorations, and that's what this area is all about. Also, I have a cold. We're just going to ignore that and we're just going to move past it. But my voice may sound rough. This is a vanilla spruce tree, and these are some of the designs I've been messing with. This is kind of some bushes. These are more like some little twiggy spruce trees. I don't think I'll be using them, but these are the actual custom spruce trees that I'm going to be using on the island. We're also going to have some boulders set up, just some random designs here, and then we have the lampposts. These are the general designs I'll be going with, so whilst they won't be schematics, they will basically be the same as this. And this is sort of like a hanging potted plant type thing. I'm not sure if I'll add them or not, but we've got that there just in case. So these will go around the path itself, around the island, giving it a bit more clutter to it. But on the houses themselves, I've been experimenting with these to kind of create some sort of vines look, and I think they look alright. I've also got these kind of barrels here. At the moment there's rooted dirt in them, but I think that'll probably get changed out for something like moss. And you can see over here, we've done the same thing, but mixing in some mossy cobblestone just on the bottom. I thought I would show you this area first, just so you got an idea of what I'm going to be adding, because later on, once I actually get into the detailing, there's going to be a lot happening all at once, and I may not have time to explain it. So now that I've shown you what I'm going to do, let's go and hop on to the LiberCraft server itself. This is my screen. I've just logged into the server and it started on this, and as a reenactment I literally just clicked this and went I suppose I deserve this. Off screen I went and added quite a few crates to Life is War's base. This is a lot. This is a lot of crates. Let's just ignore the problem. If I ignore the problem, then there isn't a problem. See, look, out here, there's no problem out here. There's a problem there, but we can ignore that problem. If I just don't look at them, then that's not a problem. What's that over there? That's a duck. I have a duck. So many strange and wonderful things have happened on the server. There's another duck. Why is there another duck? Just teleported home to put stuff away. Forgot about the crates. Let's clean them up. Over 3 stacks of crates. That's a lot of crates. That's a lot more than what I did. I only left about 20 or 30. Well, they're gonna get put away. If you didn't buy the wood needed to make these crates in the lumber shop, not gonna be too happy. Now that the issue with the crates is done, I need to show you something that happened off screen before the episode started. So I've just been working on this path, kind of lining it up perfectly. You can see there's still a bit here I need to change. However, there are a few things that have popped up around here. Firstly is this cinnamon roll head. There's no indication of who's left this here. I guess it's here now. But also I've noticed a couple of little gifts, and I thought I'd just pop on and kind of get them retrieved and cleaned up as well. The first one, naturally, I knew before I even read the sign that this was from Kibble, because I think every time a gift pops up with from Kibble, this sort of corruption just turns up. Is corruption the right word? It's almost like you put the present down and this just pops up around it. It is nice, it's just completely not the style it's going for, but it does add a spot of colour to the base. And inside, more bone blocks and even a kibble head, so that's going in my collection. I was about to put it in my collection. I don't have an ender chest. I am always running out of ender chests. I keep putting them down and forgetting them. But the other thing is over here, just in front of the lumberyard, is a gift from the president of the TCA, which is Pizza Docs. and that is a pizza doc's head, and I do not have one of those yet, so that again is going in my head box. But as well as the gifts from Kibble and Pizza Docs, which is greatly appreciated, whilst I was doing this path up, I've had the nether farm just going. It's gone through a shulker box of bone meal in like a couple of hours, but I've also been told to check in with the pet, which I believe is this house here. There's a block of wood now. Nothing's changed about the pet, it's just this block of wood. What happens if I mine this block? Oh, hold up. There's a thing there. What? Pets be pets good? I love you, Fluke, Dragonhead, Mini. Hold up, this is a lot. There are many things in here. Right, let me get I want to leave this shulker box here in case the pet decides to put more things in. Okay, I have a fresh shulker box so we can move everything. And then, quite simply, what we're going to do, I just put the block back. And now I know the pet can still leave things in there. Also, pet, thank you very much for the gift. I am going to make sure that I start to decorate. Maybe the walls, I'll get you some paintings, and I'll put a sign up front to make sure that we know this is your house. You are only paid up for the month though. In a month's time I will come back for rent. Unless that diamond block you just gave me was rent, in which case you need to let me know. Every time I log into the server, something has changed. Hold on, I know where you're hiding him. I just read these signs here. Someone wants to ask permission to play a plank with TNT. I don't know how I feel about that. And then I keep seeing crates and signs and more crates. And then a crate that's probably part of an item stand, and then another crate, and then there's another crate, and it just keeps going. Is there anything more through here? No, here seems fine. And then I come up here, and there's zombie pigman heads everywhere. It's just everything. There's so much everywhere. And then there's crates over here now. I should probably explain something from the behind the scenes of this particular episode. I am recording this in the middle of a constant week of in real life work. I actually have a job in real life, which is why this episode might be a bit disjointed, it might be a bit short. I'm not quite sure how it's going to turn out because I've had to do it in between work when I'm pretty tired, and to add insult to injury, I do have a cold as well. But like I said, we're just going to power through that and see how much we can actually get done in this episode. What that means is we probably won't be able to get the villagers done this week. They will still have to stay in their base, and the next episode can be all about interiors. This episode, let's focus on the exterior. Let's focus on making sure it's clean, it's tidy, and getting all of like the custom items in. And that's a firework, which means someone's here. Let's talk to them and see who it is. It's Ignited on their second account. Oh yeah, the other Ignited's online as well. So it could be the other Ignited's on their way to give me things. Yep, the other Ignited is here. Ooh, that's a lot. That's a full shulker box of iron blocks. Okay, so Ignited has now just left. They've dropped us off a shulker box of iron and left their bedrock account just to idle there. But whilst we were talking, I had a thought. You see, this was perfectly in my camera view, this crate. And it gives me the perfect idea for revenge against who I am pretty certain is the one who's put all these crates here. I know where you're hiding him. What does that mean? Oh yes, make me. I don't know what that means. So that I think this sign here and that sign there are actually unrelated to these signs from Mr. Panda talking about TNT. Let's get on to business. Now there are a couple of things that have happened off screen outside of all of the gifts and the shenanigans. The first thing is that I've pushed back the grass level across the beach. This is now the only layer of beach left over here, just giving it, I think, just more greenery. I think I wanted more greenery. I have moved the path round. I have completely filled it in. I have linked it up to every doorway. The path is exactly where it wants to be. And over here, I have flattened that area out. I don't know why. I just did it. I don't know if anything's going to go there. But I have this nice flat space now. Maybe something will? I don't know. We'll have to find out. This tree here was a gift from Mercia quite a while back. They came over and they just wanted to build a custom tree. I think we will probably end up moving it somewhere. Perhaps in this area over here. I've been looking for something to put here. And I think perhaps that chunky tree could make quite a good spot in there, since it is going to be slightly different than all the other trees I'm going to have dotted around. why are there even more llamas? But naturally, before we can actually get started on the custom trees and the boulders and everything else and all the vines, what we need are the resources, which means collecting lots of spruce wood, which is already done. I've got shulker boxes of that, but also spruce leaves. So I'm going to go over to my area and just start farming them. Okay, we are back in the desecrated zone, and I need to try and prioritize the space as much as possible since we're looking for leaves and not necessarily the wood. So I'll just place it down and then 1, 2, 3, 4, there, 1, 2, 3, 4, there, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get the picture. It's just that over and over and over again, all the way along and then all the way this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we just go along and then we can start doing things a lot quicker. There we go, this is all the spruce trees we're going to do at the start, so now we just need to bone meal it up. And yeah, you can see that leaving 4 blocks means that there's very little wastage in terms of the leaves. And there we go, all the trees have now been grown. We need the right tool for the job, which is going to be Cheery Ho. This just reminds me of the early days on this server. Back before the wood farm and I needed to get leaves. It's just me and a hoe and lots of bone meal. Actually no, there wasn't a lot of bone meal in those days. It was just me on the top of trees, mining away. I don't really know how much I'm going to need. I haven't figured out exactly how many trees I'm going to make. But I reckon having a shulker box of leaves should be enough. We're at that point now where we deal in shulker boxes. There's no real easy way to do spruce trees. Let's try from below. It's like trimming a hedge going around the sides here. We're down to like the last little bits now, trying to get as much as we can out of them. There we go, all the wood is gone, and there's absolutely no evidence that I was ever here. See, that's all gone. There's absolutely no evidence I was ever here, except for maybe the pollution on the ground in the form of podzol. But we'll just ignore that. Imagine the ground looks like that, and then there's no evidence I was ever here. You see, I'm not even there anymore. I'm over here, and over here is much better. You don't have to imagine the podzol. There's no podzol. What am I supposed to do with this duck? What am I supposed to do with the other duck? Or all these crates? Or the skeleton horses? Or the llamas? Or this parrot? What am I supposed to do with any of this? And now it's raining. Well, I think there's only one thing to do when I'm looking around at all the things that I can't worry about, and that's just ignore them. I'll clean them up later. But I think we should get into a bit of a time lapse so that we can get some custom trees, custom boulders, custom things going on the island. So let's get assembling. And the rain has come back, but I think that's where I'm going to leave the detailing for today. As you will have seen from the time lapse, I did in fact change the design of the trees, the custom trees around there at the back along the path, and I have added quite a few of just the vanilla trees just to kind of give it a bit more of an overgrown feel. Though now that I think about it, I think having custom trees across the entire island would be quite good, but that would be a lot of work. And I think it's time to draw this particular part of the detailing to a close, at least for now. I can always revisit it later. But as you can see, I've also added quite a few more lampposts in along the path. I know I have the shroom light for the actual lighting, and I may end up trying to convert entirely to the lampposts because I kind of prefer these. And as well, this one here with the spore blossom just gives that extra little effect as well, and I want to get so many more spore blossoms just along this path. You can see I've got boulders everywhere, I've got the custom trees, and they are really nice, these custom trees I ended up going with. I've got the older design here that you saw in the beginning. This was alright, but after showing it to someone, they looked at it and didn't think much of it. So I needed to change the design. I also have these vines wrapping their way around the building. I think the entire look of this is very much overgrown. Like, this village has just been reclaimed by nature. And we have this very industrial style lumber yard here, which gives a nice break from all of that. Gives a nice open air. And of course we do still have to move the villages in. I have been putting that off for quite some time now, but next week there is literally nothing left I can do. I have to move the villages in. I have to move them in. I have to do the interior. So this week was all exterior. Next week is all interior. I am in fact going to do most of the moving of the villages off screen before I start the next episode. So the next episode can focus on the detailing and the interiors instead of me just spending hours moving villages on camera. With all this clutter, you may be wondering where the llamas and the skeleton horses have gone. Well, I've just decided to move them all the way over there. I was going to fly off, but then I realised there's actually nowhere good to take off from within the island anymore. So we may as well just run. And over here we have skeleton horses penned up, we have the llamas pinned up, and we have these wolves, which are not mine. My wolves are on the beach. That is a good shot. That's a good view right there. And in fact, that reminds me of something else I wanted to show you. So quite possibly at this point, the frame rate will have suffered, particularly if I start moving. I currently have the complementary shaders on, and I have the faithful texture pack, and then you can see that when I'm starting to move, there is a lot of frames being dropped. But I thought I should show you what I use when I'm taking screenshots. Yes, if we start going over there, the game suffers. It doesn't suffer as much usually, but it does suffer when I'm recording, and it won't reflect necessarily accurately on screen. I have also added on with this the Better Leaves add-on to kind of give the trees as well a bit more to them. And you can see the game is really suffering here, but it makes everything look amazing. Everything looks brilliant with this, and the rain is especially good. I've always liked that sort of rain aesthetic. Oh, look at that alleyway. That is what I pictured in my head with this alleyway, with the overgrowth and everything, and then you've got the light at the end of it. This is amazing. I love this. I wish I could play like this all the time, but unfortunately it's too much on my computer and my recording to handle. All I've done is just change up how the island looks. I was on the fence about it. Look at that. Look at this shot of the lighthouse peeking in through the trees there. I am geeking out about this now. All I'm doing, I'm just looking at my island and finding the best place to take pictures. I think as well, because there's so much going on, there's so much overhangs, it really does make it feel kind of quite closed in, and that was rather the point of this island. I wanted it to feel cluttered, random, not necessarily very symmetrical. All the buildings are very different. These trees are relatively very different. The lampposts are very different. Everything about this is designed to be the opposite of organised. I have some ideas about adding even more detailing to this place. Out here and where it's a bit bare maybe. Obviously the interior is going to get done as well. And then the villagers are going to get in. And this will actually be a functional village as well. This island, this town, won't just be something decorative. It won't just be something pretty. It'll be a functioning area with villagers walking around. Because I'm going to have some wild villagers as well as the actual professions in these buildings. And you can just see with night moving in how I'm just so happy with this. This looks so good. And see the vines on some of these buildings, they do go all the way up, and I think I want to continue this with all the other buildings. The detailing is not perfect, it's not complete. It needs some more work off screen just to get it done. Well, the night's about to go because people are sleeping. The sun rays and everything, and a rainbow. For a game that is simply about blocks and mining and crafting, it can truly be made into something really kind of beautiful, really. I'm taking so many screenshots. I'm going into full-blown photography mode now. If people are interested in some of the pictures I do take, I do tend to post quite a lot of screenshots on Reddit. I will post, I think there's a link in the description. There's definitely a link on the channel banner itself. Reddit is where I end up posting all of these screenshots. And see, the thing is, as soon as you start looking at the game like this, then you don't want to go back to the way it was before. I'm barely touching 30 FPS at the moment. It's not exactly at a playable level, and with the quality that I prefer my videos to be at, I couldn't necessarily play it like this full time, but one day maybe I will. There are still a few bits that I'm going to go and do off screen. Like I said, I'm going to do the villages. I think I might expand on some of the detailing as well, just to add those finer touches I couldn't get done in this episode. This episode has been quite a lot of work, but I'm so happy with how it's turned out. I'm so happy with how this island has turned out. And once the island is finished and once the villages are in, I'm even much more looking forward to what happens next. So if you are wanting to see what happens next, just like me, just stick around and I will see you in the next video.